Hello, everyone, and welcome to just a simple introduction to Mathology. My name is Kim Mastermartino, and I am with Pearson Canada, and I support professional services in mathematics across Canada, along with about 15 part-time mathology consultants. This is actually a re-recording of the other night. I try to make a clean beginning so that those that want to just listen to the information can get on with it right away. So this recording is part one of part two, and I'll begin just by simply sharing my screen. And we have our PowerPoint here. So I'll be talking through just some simple features, and it's a lot of information, but you'll be able to have a face-to-face. I understand there's a team from each school coming for a face-to-face workshop with one of our consultants, Renee, in just a few weeks. And there you'll be able to dig in a practical manner and really see for yourself the different pieces, how they fit together, and how you can do some really awesome planning. So thanks for joining. And thank you to all those that participated the other night after a long day of work. So let's begin. So in the next half an hour or so between the part one video and the part two video, I'll just give you a general introduction to Mathology and really show you how what I've seen is it's really provided joyful and positive math stories, not only for students, but also for educators. And we're going to discuss a little bit about how it might support your planning, your teaching, student learning, assessment, and all the while learning more as you go. And so at your schools, you will have pieces of Mathology. And I say pieces because it doesn't matter if the information is coming from the little books on the left, the activity kit boxes in the middle, or the digital aspect of mathology.ca. It's the same material, just accessed in different ways. And the things that you see in the classroom really are supported by strong research through various resources like Taking Shape and Alex Lawson's What to Look For. Of course, a lot of the fundamental concepts from Van de Waal. And it's also supported by a learning progression. And so a copy of this learning progression there's one in the grade 1 kit and one in the grade 2 kit. And of course, it's embedded throughout in mathology.ca. And of course, often it's much easier to understand a new resource when there's a little bit of professional learning that might kind of guide the way in a quick and efficient manner. And so those are the things that support Mathology, anything that you see in the classroom. But what you would see at your school, you would see kindergarten to grade 3 little books and teacher guides. And you would see activity kits, grade 1 and 2, and you would have some sort of at least one grade 1 access and grade 2 access, and probably more than that per school for mathology.ca. And so I'm just going to spend 2 or 3 minutes and kind of talk about how the resources that you're seeing in your school actually came about. It was built for and by the Canadian math community. Various people have had opportunity to be writers, reviewers throughout all the activities across Canada. The activities have been classroom tested, and I have the wonderful opportunity just in the next few weeks to actually do some observations in classrooms for the next grade that is being built, which is grade 3. As I talked about just a minute ago, it is research-based. It's supported by a learning progression. It is aligned to each curriculum in each province. And it's really driven by extensive research from inside classrooms, from teachers that are using these activities every day with students. And so these are the aspects that support Mathology. You can go online and look for Math Success for All. It's a free document, and it just highlights some important math quotes and some important aspects, especially of early mathematics. And so I haven't counted them, but from all the lists I've seen, there's over 1,000 educator voices contributing to the research and the development. And so these educators are primary classroom teachers, elementary principals and vice principals, consultants, superintendents, and some professors and other people that are working through universities. And so we're going to take a look at what's on that top tier and just take a look at some of the features so that you can see, oh, this is how this fits, or that's how that fits together. And so it is a I call it a resource. It's not a program because you can use it with what you're using now. You can intersperse it with other things and just make it work for yourself. It's flexible. There's a variety of learning pathways. There's both print and digital options, and it's really designed to address different contexts and student needs through fun and hands-on activities. And so when we think about Mathology of the package, whether you're accessing the activities and the assessment through Pearson Mathology.ca, whether you're accessing it through the little books or the teacher guides for the little books, or whether you're accessing it through the activity cards in the boxes, it's easily to see how it's easy to search for things, it's easy to plan for math, it's easy to teach for math, it's easy to assess and track student progress in math, and it's really easy to learn as you go just by using the resource. It's aligned to the every provincial curriculum, and it really is rich mathematical activities. And so when you're searching, it's really easy. In mathology.ca on the left, it's as simple as putting anything you want into that search: add, subtract, count, um, patterning, measurement, quantity, and up will come a variety of activities that are applicable to your grade just by putting a few other drop down pieces in there. And in the part B, you'll see a quick demonstration of kind of how this all fits together of the video. And you can search by curriculum. So by clicking on that, your curriculum for your province will come up. You click on an aspect of your curriculum and up will come activities for your grade, or you can search by the ideas in math by the learning progression. When it comes to the little books, in the Getting Started guide, so there's one that came in the box for grade 1 and one that came in the box for grade 2. There's actually quite a few pages in there that show the big ideas in math. So here we see big idea 3. Quantities and numbers can be grouped by units or split into units. And we see that there is a couple of books in grade 1. There's 4 books in grade 2 and 3 books in grade 3 that belong to that big idea. And within those books, some more precise ideas of mathematics are shown. That document, Getting Started, is also available online through on Pearson Canada Mathology. You can just Google Getting Started Guide Grade 1-2 Mathology, and it's probably the first thing that pops up. And then you can search for activities by looking at the cluster card within the activity box. So that would have come together, and when you open the cellophane, you would see all the cluster cards together, and then you can just intersperse them in your box once you get the teacher cards behind that. But you see that there's a pathway going from the left to right, the beginning of that idea on the left, and then a consolidating activity on the right of that pathway. So let's take a look at how you might do some planning. In mathology.ca, we have a bar right at the top. It is home, favorites, plan, analytics, and help. So this is a bar you're going to kind of toggle around a lot. And so for planning, it's simply, you press plan, make a new plan. You can make your plan anything you want. I'm just going to go back one. And you can load in activities and you can write comments. The other thing you can do is on the bottom right, you see a little green button that says add non-mathology lesson. You can add any lesson of your own as long as it has a URL, so a Google Doc or anything like that. And it also has the ability to share plans with anybody else in your board that has Mathology. So here on the right, you can see how there's sample weekly plans already loaded too, that you can just take a look and see, oh, there's a great sample plan. I think I might just start with that. Or you see how it's built. In the little books on the left, again, we call them pathways. From the top left, we have a kindergarten book. Again, this is about quantities, and numbers can be grouped by units or split into units. It goes down to around the middle when we take a look at the best birthday, and that's a grade 2 book. And by the time you get to the bottom right, how numbers work, that will be a grade 3 book. So again, it's a pathway from K to 3, because that's how the little books were built. They were built as a unit. So if you're in grade 2 and you find some of your children aren't quite there yet, go back and take a look at ways to count, or how many is too many, which are grade 1 books, and you can see maybe there's something in that that will help some of your students. And then for the activity kit, there's a cluster pathway starting from the left, going to the right. The first activity in every cluster is always it's an open task that as a teacher you'll have time to observe students in the task. So it kind of helps you understand where they're at for that concept. And there are tracking sheets and things I'll show you in a bit. And then at the end of the pathway, there's a consolidating activity that, again, really helps you think about their assessment and how far they've come and what aspects they have and where you might need to go next with them. And so if you want to see what's happening around Canada in Mathology, just go to Twitter and look at hashtag Mathology, or hashtag, or at Pearson K-12. So hashtag Mathology, you're just going to get Mathology. And you see teachers are just using a variety of things in a variety of way. We have the book Array's Bakery on the left, and the teacher was doing some hands-on things with real baking sheets, and then moving into more representations. And on the right, she's using a little measurement book and doing a variety of activities throughout the classroom. And so when you go to teach, again, there's a variety of opportunities to look at different things in mathology.ca. The task card on the left looks very similar to the card that's in the box. And then on the right are just all the supporting documents that you'll find in the box, or when you click them, they can be printed out. And then when we look at the little books, the same math ideas can be found through the shared reading and the prompting questions as the story is read. Or in the teacher's guide, it has a lot of activities for whole group, small group, and individual practice that relate to that idea in math. And in grade 2, you have a variety of teacher cards that I'll show you on the next slide. So in grade 1, in the kit, you'll find on the left-hand side, you see teacher cards. These are lesson cards. And on the back of each lesson card is an assessment grid that will help you anticipate what you're going to see in the students, and then help you think about next steps for that student too, right in the moment. On the right-hand side, you see student cards that the students can play their games and activities with. On the bottom, we see some tools or cards that can be used over and over again that support some of the math activities. So you see 10 frames, 5 frames, hundreds charts, things like that. And then within each box, you'll see a print copy of the line master. And of course, there's access to online masters that are in Word, and you can modify them as needed. And so in the grade 2 kit, we've got similar things. We've got the teacher card, we've got the assessment on the back, student activity cards, and kind of tool cards that might differ a little bit from grade 1. And then in addition, there's the blue Math Everyday cards. And so what happened in the research between grade 1 and 2, the grade 2 teachers were saying, sometimes I need to work more on fluency at this age. They just need a lot of practice. And so they built quite a few Math Everyday cards that you can pull out over and over again and just use with different numbers. And there are 44 intervention cards that you can work either whole class or small group, and they reach back to the previous grade's expectations to do some of that gap closing or to support students prior to them getting into that grade 2 work. And so when we look at skip counting, this on the grade 1, on the left-hand side, we see, well, skip counting appears in grade 1 at the beginning of a pathway, and then skip counting fluently appears midway along a similar pathway for grade 2. And so I'm going to leave part A here. This is where we started part B, where participants were typing in the chat pod aspects of the lesson that they liked. And so to learn more about the teacher cards and to learn more about the teacher guide for the little books and to see a live demonstration of Mathology.ca and some great little learning videos that are in there, just take a look at part B of this recording. Thank you.